All right, so today we're going to be going back over some more of the ancient Mayan civilization. Specifically today we're going to be talking about their form of writing. They use glyphs, and we're also going to be talking about how it was kind of difficult for archaeologists to decipher their actual written language.
So I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys what a glyph is. A glyph was a form of language used by the Mayan civilization that was either a word or a symbol, and it usually represented a word or phrase. Archaeologists had discovered these to try to decipher what the phrases had meant to understand the Mayan civilization's language better. So here we're going to show you a quick video on the background of the Mayan civilization and their use of this language.
Independently developed writing systems in the world, and the only complete writing system in the ancient Americas. Unfortunately, all but a handful of the Mayan texts and literature written on paper have been lost to natural decay and to the Spanish conquest, in which thousands of Mayan texts were confiscated and publicly burned as works of the devil. But many inscriptions do remain, carved into limestone monuments, stairways, and ritual objects, and painted onto pottery or walls of tombs. Scholars of Maya writing were first able to translate inscriptions concerning astronomy and calendrics. Numbers were represented by bars and dots, and a shell represented 0, a mathematical concept which would not reach Europe until centuries later. Similar to modern Japanese writing and ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs, ancient Maya writing was a combination of logographic and phonetic writing. Ancient Maya scribes could spell words with signs representing whole words as well as with signs representing individual sounds, as in our writing system. For example, the word for jaguar, balam in Mayan, could be written simply as a picture of the head of the big cat. Yet in the Maya world, there was more than one spotted cat. For example, there were ocelots and margays. To avoid any possible confusion over how to read a sign, the Maya added signs around the main sign. For example, they could attach the syllable sign for ba to the front of the jaguar head, giving the spelling ba balam, or ma to the rear of the jaguar head, giving the spelling balamma. Since no other word for a cat began with ba or ended with ma, readers knew that here they should pronounce balam instead of any other possible words for cat. Since these extra sounds represented the sounds of syllables, the Maya could spell the word using only phonetic signs, thus eliminating the picture of the cat altogether. In this phonetic system, the word for jaguar used 3 signs, ba, la, and ma, to spell balam. Thanks to the advances in correlating contemporary Maya languages with ancient Maya writing, today we are able to understand as many as 650 of the 800 known Maya glyphs with some certainty.
Fix out that video first. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the video just a little bit and also kind of lead into this slide. So as they said, there's only about 60% that they actually know of what the actual meaning of the glyphs are. And one of the biggest importances as to why we need to decipher these glyphs is because this is their written language, and this creates records, and it creates information as to who they were as a society, as a culture. And the glyphs were important also because it gave them their own form of literature and writing. And without literature and writing, there seems to be no community, so the actual language itself kind of just created a more balanced economy in the aspect of they all had their own form of language, their own form of speaking, their own form of writing, and the glyphs in itself created their first written language. Go ahead.
This will also help you guys to understand the differences in cultures and languages and be able to apply that later in life. So how did we find these glyphs? They were discovered over the years by different explorers and archaeologists, like we had said. They were found around the 1900s, and as they became more and more populated and well known, it was more interesting and people wanted to find more out about them. Archaeologists have struggled deciphering these glyphs because of how extensively creative the Mayan culture had been with the language. Like you had seen in the video, the changes in adaptability in the word phrases of the pictures might have come off a little bit confusing to them as to seeing prior pictures or symbols that they had believed were the word or phrase.
The other biggest issue was they had created their own language. As you saw in the video, cat or tiger was balam, which is obviously not how we say it ourselves. So, as I said earlier, this is kind of just like coding in a computer. Archaeologists and researchers have just been studying this language, trying to figure out what symbol means what, which symbols combined together forms what word, and I think the biggest struggle with the archaeologists was actually finding the written language, because as it said on the video, it was actually banned at one point because of the religious views that some people had on the actual language. So now I'm actually about to describe the activity that we're going to do with it.
And there's also, you can see the struggles in not only trying to understand the symbols themselves, but also attaching the different language to the pictures itself. Like Lauren had said, these are not the same words that we use in English language. So also being able to just decipher what the symbol means itself and using the written language that the Mayan culture had created was its whole struggle in itself.
Okay, so I'm about to pass around a sheet for all you guys, and it's going to have the directions on it. So what I want you guys to do is I want you to form 4 to 5 people in a group, and what I'm going to have you guys do is, this is kind of a creative project. As the Mayans created their own glyphs, I want you guys to do the same thing. I'm going to have you guys just kind of come up with your own symbols, your own phrases, your own letters. I'm going to give you a few examples of my own. For example, if I wanted to do, I don't know, a cloud, I could do this for the symbol. Or if I wanted to do a pizza, which back then may not have been a thing, but still going to do it. And then, or if I wanted to do like king, I could do a crown. And just, those are just some basic examples, and I want you guys to get creative with it, get colorful. You could do it in black and white. I want you guys to form your own sentence between your group. It could be 3 words, it could be 12 words. Just be creative and come up with what you want. In the end, what we're going to do is we're going to pass around all of our papers to each individual group, and each group is going to guess what your sentence said, and in the end, we're going to go over it as a class, and we're going to see whose group had the most correct guesses as to what their sentence or phrase meant, and you're going to get a little prize afterwards. So, hope you guys have fun with it.
And remember to work together as a group, not only in creating the sentences, but also when trying to decipher other groups' messages as well. Balance of ideas can really help this activity along and may succeed you guys into a prize. Who knows? I don't know. But good luck. Use some creativity.
Okay.